2024 begins with a bang. We have Mercury stationing direct on the 1st of January, so things can start really moving more forward for us in more clarity, as Jupiter also just stationed direct on the 30th of December. And then on the 20th of January, we have a very, very big day, as that day Mercury goes out of shadow and the Sun and Pluto conjunct and ingress into Aquarius, which officially marks, to me, the age of Aquarius that we are moving into. And this is also a 20-year transit that will completely transform humanity and the world as we know it. And then we also have on the 13th and 14th of February, which is traditionally Valentine's Day time, we have Mars conjuncting Pluto at this 0 degrees of Aquarius. So this is also a time where we can expect more violence in the world and just more ruthlessness in general, criminal activity. But on a personal level, we could expect ourselves to just feel much more empowered. We can feel more that we have more willpower to push through and to push something forward. But it is important to really use temperance with this intensity at that time. And then on April 20th, we have Jupiter and Uranus conjuncting in the sign of Taurus, which is a rare event. I also cover what this has done in the past in my 2024 astrology highlights video. So I will also link that below so you can check it out if you like. But on a world scale, this is a huge, could be a very huge unexpected event. But with Jupiter involved, we would hope that it could be mostly beneficial and liberating in some way. But of course, this possibly has to do with Taurian, Uranian, and Jupiterian themes. So this leads us to agriculture, food, banking, financial currencies, and so forth. And with the ruler of this conjunction in Taurus, Venus, is currently in Aries at the time of this conjunction. And in Aries, she's actually in the Duad that's ruled by Uranus and Saturn, which is an Aquarian Duad, which again leads us back to the Sun and Pluto ingressing into Aquarius on the 20th of January. And that Aquarian digital energy, and Pluto, again, financial, powerful shifts. And with the Sun, with that initial ingress, I feel it really just indicates more, like a leadership kind of legislation. The 11th house, Aquarius, very much deals with legislation in regards to big financial shifts. And then, of course, we have Mars as the dispositor over Venus, the ruler, at the time of the conjunction is in Pisces, where it's more subdued emotional energy. But it moves into its own sign, Aries, on the 30th of April, which is only 10 days after this conjunction, where it can then move forward with action towards plans. And then we also want to look at what is Venus like when Venus is in Aries, as she is the ruler of this conjunction. Venus in Aries is more aggressive to what she desires. She will very impulsively move towards partnerships and alliances, and she can have us be just more aggressive with our social expression. So that can also give you more of an idea of what can be going on at this time. And then in May, we have, at the end of May, the 25th of May, we have Jupiter ingressing into Gemini. So this is very positive, I feel, as it brings a lot of tolerance between us. It strengthens community, our sense of community and compassion. It makes us more broad-minded, and it also brings in much more information and curiosity at this time, and definitely much more communication. And then this year we still have the nodes in Aries and Libra. So we are moving from the partnership dynamic with the South Node in Libra to the more to exploring the more individual dynamic of North Node in Aries, where we're more also aware of our rights and freedoms and what we want to move and initiate moving forward. This is also the axis of me and the other. This is also the axis of peace and war, love and war, which is what we are facing in the world right now, with Mars and Venus ruling the nodes. Now we will also, and actually you can think back at 2004 and up to June of 2006, the nodes would have been in Aries and Libra at that time. So you can think about connections and themes that you may have had at that time as well. Now we will have eclipses in March, April, September, and October. Now, in my opinion, the April eclipse is going to be one to watch. Of course, we have activation 6 months prior and post with eclipses, so it's not necessarily that day, but that's definitely a theme to watch. We also have our first Pisces eclipse in September, as the nodes will shift to Virgo and Pisces in February, I believe, of 2025. And we have a very fire energy this year, as we have all of our retrogrades in fire signs this year. We have Mercury retrograding in Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. And then we have Mars retrograding at the end of the year, December 6th up until February of 2025. And this Leo house has been really a big theme for you in your chart, as we had the Mercury retrograde there in August of 2024. 2023, we had Venus retrograding in Leo. And now we will have Mars retrograding there as well at the end of the year. So the Leo house is going through some transformations, definitely. And we are definitely learning about standing in our autonomy and our sovereignty with all this fire element going on. So this year I really feel like there's very much a theme of blue and red, with the Aquarian emphasis and the fire emphasis, and very much that blue and red pill, making big choices, Jupiter and Gemini, choosing sides, the duality of Gemini as well, and the mental energy of such a strong Aquarius, and then also Jupiter moving into Gemini this year. So there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of decision making, moving forwards with that North Node in Aries, initiating. And this really is a year where we have the courage to pursue our passions with conviction. And we are marking our uniqueness, our unique differences, which strengthens our communities. And it strengthens us in humanity as a whole. And through this strengthening, we allow room for creative innovation, which once again propels us forward and helps us to move upwards, upgrading more, which is also Aquarius. And this is all while we are protecting our individuality in the face of huge earth and cosmic shifts. I would also highly recommend taking good care of your lymph this year, your lymphatic system, your immune system, and also cleansing the blood regularly and detoxing. So I would highly recommend suggesting supportive herbs such as holy basil, turmeric, milk thistle, and cayenne pepper. This is not medical advice. Have a blessed 2024. Welcome, Pisces rising. This is your 2024 astrology horoscope potentials. Pluto has been in your 11th house of Capricorn since 2008. Pluto usually begins by breaking down the area of life it moves through and then rebuilds it transformed and renewed and more aligned with your truth. The area of life that Pluto moves through will bring power and control issues into your awareness. You will relearn and redo power and control in that area of your life. Now, you've been passing through Pluto's complete transformation since 2008. In the area of your friends, social reform, goals, and your future, and also co-workers and business financials and investments. Pluto here can change your political views of the world, the groups you have belonged to, your friends, clubs, co-workers, and business financials. The plans for the future may have changed with Pluto here. You may have found the goals that you had were unrealistic or not worth pursuing. You could have met powerfully influential people during this time or worked alongside them, or you could have been working with money or large financial institutions. You could have seeked out friendships during this time that are more deep. A person or a traumatic event could have deeply moved you during this time or changed the course and the direction of your life. Pluto here can also sometimes indicate a death of a friend or of a family member. So that might be something you may have experienced. There is more probability to also have intense sexual experiences or obsessions with coworkers, or for a friendship to develop deeper into a love relationship with a transit such as this. But this is also a time where it would have been very important to not be manipulated into doing anything criminal, or to have someone lead you down the wrong path of the future. Now, this is a time where, especially now, as Pluto is at the last bit of Capricorn, to allow connections that need to end now. The connections you have made during this transit will have a profound and direct impact on your growth as a person. Now, Pluto will ingress into your 12th house of Aquarius on the 20th of January 2024 for a transit of 20 years as it ingresses Aquarius. Now, it will be conjoined by the Sun in a very powerful conjunction. In 2023, it was here for a brief 3 months from March, April, and May. So you can think back at any connections at that time. It will briefly retrograde back into the last degree of Capricorn in September to finalize something here in your 11th house that still needs to be finalized. But this year, Pluto officially is in Aquarius, where it will begin to transform the area of self-sabotage, mental health, endings, and spirituality for you. Pluto here can break down unhealthy psychological patterns that subconsciously control you. Addictions and their wound source can be exposed and brought to the surface to deal with and forgive and heal, to transform. Does alcohol or too much work or drugs or worry control you? Therefore, many past issues can be triggered. It can feel as if you're having a powerful effect on others, but that they cannot quite understand you as you come across differently than what you intended. Sometimes this is caused by childish behavior patterns that are subconscious, that now is coming up for you to purge. You can have secret enemies with Pluto here, sexual obsessions or bed pleasures or illicit affairs. Pluto here can indicate a death or ending of some sort. It is important to speak to someone now if you feel depressed or like you are alone or in a dark place. Sometimes it's going to affect your health, as it also opposes your sixth house of health. And this is usually a prompt to deal with psychological issues so that they don't manifest physically. And also to use this transit especially as the initiation, as Pluto ingresses here, to go for therapy if you feel you need it. But it's common with this kind of transit to become more private and secluded, or to feel more alienated or rejected by others. The only way you can free yourself from the need for validation and of the subconscious survival patterns that may control you is by purging these old patterns every time they pop up and get triggered. This is for your own soul's growth and to confront your shadow sides so that you hide from yourself, so that you can begin rebuilding your sense of self again when Pluto ingresses your first house. Now, Neptune has been in your first house of Pisces since 2011 and will be here until 2025. Now, with Neptune here, you may have been experiencing a more cloudy reality, as if you start your day a bit unclear, or your outlook and attitude can be very fluctuating and very go with the flow type of energy rather at times. You can be living in almost a deception of reality, as if you are pretending to be happy when you're not, or that you have a different persona almost around everyone, and that your interactions with the public and your partner and others in your life are changing because you're not necessarily yourself, and you are possibly unconsciously putting on a mask in order to relate to others easier. You may not even realize that you're doing this, but others may. And their reactions could stir you to awaken to the fact that you need to know who you are. Or you can attract people to you that are attracted to the fake you. You can be very intuitive under this transit. You can feel others' energy more strongly and possibly be much more allergy prone or addiction prone. Staying away from pharmaceuticals and drugs or alcohol that has become out of control is very important now. Also, regularly detoxing is advised, especially your lymph. You can be much more compassionate and kind and see everyone through rose-colored glasses. Therefore, do not fall for scams or people that want to use you. Some can feel unworthy with this transit, as it can have you seek out partners and connections that feel stronger than you. And this can at times put you in a position where an unhealthy relationship can take place, where codependency can lurk. At times you can find it more difficult to make clear decisions, and you could have a stronger tendency to people please and fawn and sacrifice your needs for those or others, and for the needs of others, as you can have a wanting to save others brain under Neptune's hypnotizing gaze here, which in time will create resentment and unforgiveness. You could pretend to the world that you are living a life you love, when in fact you don't. You could be ill and not inform anyone. Much of your days can be spent in disappointment if your ideals are unrealistic. So it's important to stay realistic. And if you find it troublesome, to get help with that. Get someone to help you to, get clarity on where you're going. And to not lose yourself during this time. But I would highly recommend taking better care of your health. Now, Uranus has been in your third house of Taurus since 2018 and will be until 2026. Now, you may have been experiencing much changes, genius ideas, innovation, and solutions and unusual occurrences regarding your mind, your views, opinions, your skills, your commute, your neighborhood. Uranus here brings divine guidance and brilliant ideas, innovation and discoveries. You may be much more interested in subjects such as astrology or unusual topics that you may not have understood before. You'll be able to do a lot more now. You'll have many more interests, period, than usual. You may learn new technology or study engineering or architecture or ride a train as commute to work or for a trip, or you can have changes in your commute, in your daily appointments and schedules, and a change in your neighborhood, or many changes in it, such as construction or machinery around. Maybe you live near a train station or an airport or around people that are very disruptive. Your day-to-day routines and people you deal with can change unexpectedly or in unusual ways. Your mental attention span can vary, and you may experience more anxiety and restlessness than usual. You can also find that unusual incidences can occur with siblings or friends or family. Some can feel as the world around them is not dependable upon anymore, and that your communication habits and manners can change. You may learn to use sign language or find a different way of communicating, and the tempo of your life can change. You could buy a motorcycle or a vehicle. You're much more accident prone now, so be more cautious while traveling and operating machinery, and also during lightning episodes. A sibling could be going through unusual experiences, even a divorce. The little details of life will become more important now, and you will not take as many things for granted anymore. New and interesting people can enter your life, or you can work online somehow or meet them online. But this will be a period where you can receive much spiritual downloads and mind expanding experiences. You can learn a lot more about technology and electronics. You may have many mental breakthroughs, and studying may be easier than normal, even though your attention span may not be as steady as usual. And you might have mind expanding experiences that changes your mind on a lot of things and make you a heretic. Now, Saturn has been in Pisces from March 2023 in your first house and will be here until March of 2025. Now, you can gain more responsibility in your life with Saturn here. Circumstances and interactions can cause you to mature internally. At times, it can feel like the weight of the world is upon you, or you may feel more pessimistic or less joyful at times, more introverted and shy. Sometimes you can give birth with Saturn here, or your ability to move or your mobility can change or be more restrained. You can feel held back in some way. Saturn here wants you to turn inward, to work on your internal world. What do you really want your life to look like? Who are you? What is really your responsibility? Your happiness is your responsibility. So is your attitude and your mental perspective. Change it to work for you and not against you. Utilize this time to optimize the structures in your life to create the life you want. Specialize, simplify, and work. Apply yourself practically. Get advice from someone wise, an authority, or a more mature person, a parent, could play a larger role now. There can be distanced or separated or on some level separation in a close relationship or with family. There can also be fear or a feeling of a blockage in taking further steps in your life, as if you have to kind of freeze first to address important self issues before continuing on. You may be blocking your own way forward. If you do not allow yourself to learn the lessons that Saturn teaches here, chronic health issues can rear its head with Saturn here, or back issues. Your skin can be drier than usual. You can have more issues in regards to your feet or your teeth or your bones. Some can feel more tired and more withdrawn or more private, more like a hermit. It's important to unlearn old patterns and ways of thinking about yourself or expectations put on you by others. You do not need validation from others to be who you are. And this period of self-introspection will be an important part of your soul's growth, with Saturn's transit finishing here. And you are not too old, and it is not too late. Now, Jupiter has been in your third house of the mind since May of 2023, and this is also where Uranus is, and will be here until the end of May 2024. Jupiter here can encourage tolerance towards others' views and of others in your daily environment. You can be more broad-minded. Jupiter here can optimize and grow your connections, your opportunities locally, and assist with positive thinking. You may be planning a trip or taking a new course of learning. You could be writing or reading books, or your mind could be more on spiritual topics and bring in more worldview, expanding opportunities. You may meet someone who is a mentor, or you may be one. You may learn a new language or meet people from foreign places, or a child could enter your life. Or you may be spending more time with a child. You may buy a new vehicle or think about buying something quite large or of a large amount. You can benefit now through relatives, friends, siblings, and neighbors. You could be spending more time planning your vision for the future, making choices and taking training that will help you to move forward towards your dreams. Maybe you travel to Spain with your sister. Or you may be planning on moving or relocating. You may heal relationships with friends, siblings, neighbors, teachers, or with a child. There could be something new, like a birth of a child, or even the birth of a child for a sibling. You may communicate better and bigger now than the norm. Blessed connections are possible now. New opportunities. You may find your people with this transit. Your people, the ones that actually understand you. You could be speaking to someone far away, or date someone online, or learn a new technology. But you'll be more frank and more upfront. So make sure you don't think or act or drive or speak too impulsively. Stay open-minded. You don't know everything. And every opportunity in life, every connection, every communication is a moment of present time in which we can learn something. Life seems to just be happier and better and more positive with Jupiter here. So enjoy. Jupiter will ingress into Gemini, your fourth house of home, on the 25th of May 2024 for about a year. So you can think back about 12 years ago, as this is where Jupiter was at that time. And similar themes and connections can occur now. I'm just going to take a sip of my tea. Now, in the fourth house, Jupiter can indicate relocation or a new addition to the family, a birth or a change in family dynamics and where you live and who you live with. It can be a move to a foreign country, or maybe taking in a foreign exchange student or someone from a different country, teaching at home or from home, or learning from home. Jupiter here can bring tolerance in the family. It can help to improve the home. It can bring in financial support or inheritance. At times, it can mean that you'll experience a great healing of family relationships, maybe with a parent or a sibling or a child. Sometimes a family member can pass, but this can be a relief where the person is relieved from suffering. This can be a spiritual renewal in the home or a reconnection to your faith. Jupiter here can make you travel to your home country or where you were born. Jupiter here brings joy and optimism in the home, luck and opportunity. You could also be improving your home now and raising its value, or move to a much bigger or much more luxurious place. You could buy property overseas or buy a large property. You could make changes or have a new vision for your home and a new outlook on your past and your childhood, working with the subconscious patterns from the past and transforming them, turning the page. This transit can also bring you to a place where you can finally put some roots down and feel more at home, more comfortable and more supported, and more romantic. Now, on the 20th of April, 2024, Jupiter and Uranus will conjunct, in Taurus. And you can listen to my more in-depth discussion on how this may affect the world in a positive and negative possibilities. If you click on the link in the description box below, my 2024 astrology highlights, the mundane forecast for the collective will be listed below. Now, for some, this can be a wonderful time for growth, for sudden opportunities to enhance freedom and evolution in some way, some new discoveries or innovation regarding Taurian, Uranian, and international themes. This has also got to do collectively with banking, agriculture, and so forth. But for you, this is in your third house of the mind, skills, buy and sell, communication, transport, commute, vehicle, your neighbors, your friends, your siblings, your immediate environment, your neighborhood, electronics, writing, speech, and your mind. Now, Mars will ingress Capricorn, your 11th house on the 4th of January. Now, this is where you may be more actively formulating goals, rethinking them, and you may be actively pursuing them or preparing to do so. Your work is more geared towards the future now. Mars here can sometimes make it harder to work within a group dynamic or a team environment, as you're naturally more selfish with a transit like this. So you can find you may experience more tension or friction in group dynamics or with coworkers. So it might be a better time to work by yourself if you can. You can have more chances of conflict between friends or groups you belong to. So again, working independently might be better at this time. Focus on being more cooperative with others. This can be great for new inventive ideas, for group sport, for really acting upon your future now. And your work, your connections, the people you are around, all have to have some kind of connection to what you're moving towards and be sort of on the same page. And there needs to be some personal gratification connected to these connections now. Now, Mars will ingress Aquarius, your 12th house, on the 13th of February, where it will also meet up with Pluto in a very powerful conjunction. Now, this house with Mars in it is where you can possibly be working more behind the scenes or more from a distance, in the background, or maybe remotely in a faraway place. Or you're taking a break from work, changing how you do things, or taking a much needed retreat somewhere, a holiday, maybe due to health issues, where you can work on some of your inner psychology. But during Mars's transit here, you can find that your subconscious behaviors can come out in uncomfortable ways. You can create strange experiences with people where you communicate in ways that they don't understand, or you're trying to say something but they take it the wrong way. You can just make the wrong impression so much easier, especially if you're impulsive. So this is very imperative that you don't apply for a new job or try and sell yourself in some way during this period. You can have secret enemies with this placement, gossip or harsh words. It's important to avoid upsetting situations and people, especially if you're traveling overseas. Be more careful as you're more accident prone now. But self-sabotaging behavior can be brought up now for you to work on, such as unhealthy sexual obsessions, drugs or alcohol, talking badly about others. This is a great time to go for therapy or counseling or healing work, to work on yourself, to work by yourself, to ask yourself, where am I defeating myself? This is also a great time to channel your pain and work on healing your pain by helping others, volunteering, focusing on others' pain. You will notice that your pain might not be as harsh as someone else's, and that can really help you to heal and to focus more on gratitude. And through that, you will find much emotional healing and becoming more whole within yourself. Mars will ingress Pisces, your first house of self, on the 22nd of March. And this is where you may feel more energetic, more assertive, more action-oriented towards your approach and perspective on life, your identity. In some cases, this can indicate surgery. Mars here can bring an increase in energy, libido, aggressiveness, impulsiveness, energy fluctuations, hormone fluctuations. In some cases, you can act more selfishly with Mars here. You can have a shorter fuse or just not be as willing to cooperate or compromise much. It would be better to focus on things more independently while you are more easily irritated. But you can have more arguments and confrontations, but you'll be able to accomplish much more. You're in go-go mode with Mars here. There can be a new man or a new love interest or a new work opportunity or a new vehicle that presents itself now. You are more accident prone now, as well as more susceptible to health issues because you're just more permeable to bugs and so forth. So you can find you have maybe more of a tendency towards inflammation and headaches. So this is a good time to really boost your immune system, to really cleanse your lymph, and to take better care of yourself. I would highly recommend milk thistle for detoxing. I would also highly recommend turmeric, as well as echinacea, or you can simply chug a clove of garlic. It's a natural antibiotic and wonderful for any type of bug. Of course, this is not medical advice, so please do consult your healthcare physician for any contraindications. This is also a time where you really want to avoid burns or electrical impulses. Think before you speak or do or drive. Don't speed. And it's a good time to check into the condition of your vehicle. Mars will ingress your second house of finances, Aries, on the 30th of April, where you may be taking practical action towards change in the area of your work, how you earn a living, your committed relationships, your past and family, and also possibly your diet. Mars here can have you try out more spicy foods. It can have you eating faster. Therefore, be more cautious regarding choking. You can feel much more busy now, weighing options here. Mars can have you spending more money now or more impulsively. For some, this can indicate buying a vehicle or buying a property or a home. You may be working more on your home now, adding comfort and functionality, cooking more. Some could be thinking of working from home or starting a business. There can be a higher chance of throat or neck injuries, also thyroid issues. The lower jaw and the lower teeth can easily get chipped more now. Arguments can arise here regarding income, financial topics, ownership, property, possessions. You could be deciding on when to take action regarding investments. buying and selling, and also defending your values. Your self-worth and how you identify with what you own will be up for growth. Your sense of self-confidence. Remember that you are not what you do or own, and your worth cannot be measured by that. It's not who you're married to or how much you make. It's a great time to cut away any negative ancestral influences now and transform these from darkness into light, breaking these patterns that no longer serve you. Mars here can also just make you more argumentative, but you will be able to say your say. Mars will ingress into your third house of the mind on the 9th of June when it enters Taurus, where you can experience emotional ups and downs. Sometimes this can involve family, friends, neighbors, or siblings. You could be more busy doing paperwork, overthinking, making decisions, taking on a new learning course, or actively learning more, or teaching, or even dealing with new technology or technological issues. More everyday busyness with appointments and schedules. You could have more topics like your vehicle condition, your commute to work, and your surrounding neighborhood come up now. There's more possibility for arguments with neighbors, or there may just be more construction in your area, or maybe you are helping a neighbor or working on mending that fence between you. That can be taken in more than one way. There can be more emotional conversation connected to your mother or your home or family and friends or siblings in some way. Some could be working on a speech or have more activity connected to social media or even arguments there. Be more cautious driving, as you can be more accident prone now and impulsive. So think before you speak, as this transit can have you use harsh words due to the more emotional mental stimulation now. I'm just going to take a sip of my tea here. Now Mars will ingress into Gemini, your fourth house of home, on the 20th of July, where you can experience emotional ups and downs. Sometimes this can involve a family member or a parent. Past subconscious feelings can come up now almost explosively. You can spend time moving or working from home or on your home. There can be more conflict at home or a sense of wanting to live alone. It can feel as if someone's trying to block you, or maybe you're blocking yourself. This is a time where it's easier for you or a parent to get injured at home. So be careful of kitchen fires, knives, and be more compromising where you can. Avoid being overly bossy and demanding to those around you. There can be more violence and action in and around your home or in your place of birth, your ancestral roots, and that home location. And of course, this is the area that deals with parents. Now, Mars will ingress Cancer, your fifth house of children, on the 4th of September, which can enhance leadership ability, your drive for power and control, and the urge to succeed can increase. You could start a new relationship at this time or be more sexual and romantic now, more expressive. It's good to work on a relationship and try new exciting things to spice it up if you're in a committed relationship. You may partake in sport of some kind. You could start your own business or move your creative hobby into a serious side hustle. This is also a time where there can be more conflict involving a child or arguments, and also the possibilities of accidents with a child. They could be going through hormonal developments at this time. It's also more possible to be more nitpicky with them or with your own creative work. But you will be much more attentive to detail now and crossing those T's. It's important to avoid being too judgmental or to be passive aggressive. and remind children to be more safe. Spending more time with your children or around your children can be good for you and them at this time. Or if you don't have children, just being around children can be good for you now. A child may require more attention or help with more work or homework. In some cases, a child could be starting a job. But there's more possibility now for getting pregnant. So if you don't want to be pregnant, be more mindful. There's a likelihood now that you can meet someone new or have a opportunity to work on your committed love relationship. But this is a time where you can also have more sexual interactions, and this is a time where you really want to take action on having more fun and bringing more joy into your life, incorporating more joyous activities into your daily life. Maybe think back to when you were a child and what brought you fun and what lights you up. Now, Mars will ingress Leo, your 6th house of health, on the 3rd of November. And this can bring arguments and discord in one-on-one connections at work. You can experience more selfishness or competitiveness there in your day-to-day routines with colleagues. But this is also a time where you can work on these relationships by working together, by, bettering your communication. But it may be just easier to work by yourself. In some cases, you can break up, or you can end a job, or change a job, or start a new job. Your work can be more physical in some cases. But Mars here indicates accidents or the possibilities thereof, especially if you're working with machinery. This can also just be a very busy time for you. So you're more prone to overworking, and you're more susceptible to health issues and inflammation now. So you want to make sure that you're cutting back on sugar and that you're just taking better care of also your heart health, as this is the sign of Leo that rules the heart. Now, if you overwork now and you do not create balance in your day-to-day, the stress can manifest in your physical body. So it's important to exercise, to release that stress. It's great to try an alternative health option with the 6th house, and also to maybe incorporate an adaptogen like ashwagandha or holy basil, especially if you're a workhorse, as that will definitely benefit you health-wise. This is not medical advice, so please do consult your medical practitioner. But take better care of yourself now. Get into a new workout routine that's more mind, body, soul, and holistic. Stay away from the things you know you should. And stand up for yourself when you need to. Don't be your own enemy. Now, retrogrades, I will only be covering personal planets in this summary, including the eclipses, as I will go over the major aspects and transits throughout the year. I used to always go over things much more detail, but I find it's just too much information. So I'm starting to kind of give you the bones, and then I'll give you the meat a little bit more through the year. Now, Mercury will retrograde in fire signs this year from Sagittarius in Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries, but it will also briefly retrograde in Virgo as it enters into Leo. Now, Mercury will retrograde in your 2nd house of finances of Aries from the 1st to the 25th of April, from 27 degrees Aries to 15 degrees Aries. And this is a time where you are examining what is important to you in your life. Is what I'm doing really worthwhile? You can expect delays in funding for certain things. Maybe you're waiting for a job that you did to get paid. There can be signs that you need to set aside a little bit of savings. Sometimes there can be unforeseen financial gains coming your way. But this is a time where you're really contemplating what you value in life, and if what you're doing is worth it. Is it paying off? Is it taking too much from you? Is it affecting your health? You know, can you maybe get away with a little bit less and doing something more that's more aligned with who you are, that you can enjoy more, that gives you more meaning? It will really help you to assess your satisfaction with your income, your finances, and your well being, and what your true desires are, and how you compare what you earn and what you do with your self worth. This can also be a time where you're evaluating your progress in achieving your goals, or maybe you're revising your skills or upgrading your skills in some way. But this is a good time to look at what you're earning, what you're spending. Where can you cut back on certain things? Where are you paying for things twice? Where are you paying for Netflix and Prime where you could only have one? Or, those types of things. Consider initiating a savings account. And this can also be a time where you're reassessing certain aspects of your committed relationships. Now, Mercury will retrograde in your 7th and 6th houses of Virgo and Leo from the 5th to the 28th of August, from 4 degrees Virgo to 21 degrees Leo. Now, while in your 7th house of Virgo, in the realm of partnerships, you can be rethinking your close one-on-one relationships in love, your spouse, or even just business partnerships, or any counselors or lawyers or consultants that you use on a one-to-one basis. This can also be a time where you're reevaluating the terms of these relationships. A lot of these agreements, have non-spoken agreements. It's never really put on paper, but there are agreements between all of our relationships. This can be a time where you're rebalancing your relationship and seeing what is out of balance, who's giving or taking too much, and this is a great time to kind of air out any of those things that's never really dealt with. Dormant issues could resurface. This can also be a time where old lovers can show up, either because they want to be back in your life, or it's just there for you to deal with some of the same aspects and learn, go back and see how that may have affected you. How does that affect your current relationship? How can you learn from it and grow from it and make your current decisions better? But it can foster closeness by allowing the open discussion of varying opinions. And by the time this transit concludes, there's a likelihood that both parties will have a deeper understanding of each other, or maybe it will be time for you to find better horizons if you don't find common ground. Now, while in your 6th house of Leo, this is a time for you to reorganize your office, to buy a new plant, get some fresh air in there, rearrange, check out your schedule, your to-do list, become more efficient. Consider if you want to change your routines around to make you more productive, or just to switch things up, as, the same old way of doing things can be very monotonous and very non-creative and non-stimulating. So this is a great time to kind of see, where's my priorities at? What can I change around and refresh? Maybe you're reconsidering your job, period, and what you do on a day-to-day basis. This is also your house of health, where you could be rethinking how you exercise, what are you eating, what is your health routines, do you have any, or are you inconsistent? This is a time to really reflect on that. Do your research. Look into nutritional information. What are you feeding yourself? mentally, physically, on every level, and to really become more consistent with that. If you do find that you are in a health situation where you need tests done or anything like that, you could find that the results are inconclusive while Mercury is retrograde. So it might be better to wait till Mercury is direct and then go for second opinions and go for the testing at that time. But this is a wonderful time to reassess your health and also your stress levels and just what you do on a day to day and how that is affecting your health, and see where you can be more mind, body, soul oriented. Now, Mercury will also retrograde in your 10th house of Sagittarius from the 25th of November till the 15th of December 2024. And this will be from 22 degrees Sagittarius to 6 degrees Sagittarius. And this is a time where you can complete unfinished business. You can finish projects that's been ongoing. You can cross T's and proofread and go over and improve work that you need to put out. You can, interview people and that kind of thing. But I wouldn't hire anyone during a Mercury retrograde. There can be communication issues with managers or team leaders or just with authority figures in general or just people at work. So it's important to be really clear on your communication. Double check that the email went to the right guy. Make sure the person understands what you were trying to say. Confirm these types of things. Be aware that schedules can change with all Mercury retrogrades. Doesn't matter what house they're in. There can be disruptions, so you want to stay flexible. This is also a time where you can really be reflecting on your life direction, on your aspirations, your career satisfaction. You can be researching this, new careers or a new path or new professionals in your field, or, just go deeper with this retrograde. You may find out things that you didn't know before. It's important now to be cautious with new contracts, new clients. So it's a better time to reassess. It's also a great time to look at your website. How can you improve things? How can you, revamp your public image and that type of thing. So this is a great time to also take a break from work and spend more time at home if you've been working too hard, and to really use this time to rejuvenate yourself and to get re-inspired. Now, Mars will retrograde in Leo from December 6th, 2024 till the 23rd of February, 2025. Now, Mars usually represents energy, drive, and the pursuit of goals. Now, when it goes backwards, this dynamic energy turns inward, and people may find themselves doubting their wishes, their aspirations, and their plans. And this phase really invites you to re-examine the direction you're going in, allowing for a more mindful approach to reaching your goals. The backward motion reminds us that slowing down and revising our strategies can be as important as moving forward. How do you spend your time? How much do you actually enjoy what you do? Where do you need to have more or less fun? Topics involving your children can appear, or during a Mars retrograde in Leo, our actions become more spontaneous but reflective. The period prompts us to utilize our exceptional synthesis skills to enhance the effectiveness of our endeavors. And as a result, we exhibit less passion, but we gain composure, and we become more efficient in our endeavors and in our actions. Now, earlier this year, in August, Mercury retrograded in Leo, and Venus did so in 2023. So what have you learned about this area of your life? Now, Leo deals with honor and loyalty and creativity and love affairs and romance and children and self-employment, money, politics, gambling, taking risks, self-expression, rights and freedoms, confidence, sovereignty, fun and joy. But for you, this is in your 6th house, so it also adds the area of health, exercise, daily routines and schedules, your work, your 9 to 5, fellow co-workers, tenants, employees that work under you, enemies, responsibilities, the areas where you serve in life, service to others, uniforms, pets, the office, your work environment. And as I mentioned, I will be going over these in more depth as we go through the year. Now let's talk eclipses. With the nodes currently still in Aries and Libra, the focus shifts from partnership dynamic, South Node in Libra, to the exploration of individual identity with the North Node in Aries. Now, the call is to stand up for our rights without losing our sense of self. The emphasis is on recognizing ourselves first as unique individuals. As Pluto ingresses into Aquarius, it amplifies our unique differences within the context of humanity. The North Node in Aries urges us to protect our individuality in the face of these cosmic shifts. Now, I'll be covering these eclipses more in depth throughout the year, so therefore I'll just mention them at this time. Now, on March 25th, there will be a Libra Lunar Eclipse full moon at 5 degrees of Libra, and this is an ending or a culmination, a fruition of sorts, or something coming into its ripe fullness in your 8th house of transformation. This is other people's money you share with your spouse, shared resources, secrets, sex, deep intimacy, death, rebirth, pregnancy, birth, trust, betrayal, scandals, psychology, research, the occult. Then on April 8th, there will be an Aries Solar Eclipse new moon at 19 degrees of Aries. This is the eclipse to watch for the year, I believe, in my opinion. This is a new beginning or a seed of intention in your 2nd house of finances, work, self-worth, possessions, confidence, what you eat, your throat, your thyroid, family, committed relationships, skills, your property investments, your talents. September 17th, there will be a Pisces lunar eclipse full moon at 25 degrees. This is the first eclipse in the Pisces Virgo axis transition of 2025, where the nodes will be moving into Virgo and Pisces. This is a closing out. This is an ending or a fullness or completion of something in your 1st house of self, your identity, your approach to life, your attitude, your health, your physical body, the condition of your vehicle, also your physical vehicle that your soul moves in, beginnings, relationships, me versus the other, as well as your appearance. On October 2nd, there is a Libra Solar Eclipse new moon at 10 degrees of Libra. This is a new beginning or seed of intention by letting go of something. But this is connected to the lunar eclipse of March that's also in your 8th house. So the first eclipse there in March was an ending, whereas now in October, this is a new beginning in that area for you. And this is your house that deals with transformation, other people's money, your spouse's income, shared resources, secrets, sex, deep intimacy, death, rebirth, pregnancy, birth, trust, betrayal, scandals, deeper psychology, the deeper meanings of life, life after death, the occult, and research in general. Well, thank you for listening, Pisces Rising. Your focus this year is your daily health routines and your day job. You are rethinking your life direction, how you earn a living and where you pour your energy into, and redirecting it towards true value, rebalancing your and others' resources, paying off debt, going for therapy, or learning to forgive. Mental breakthroughs and great innovation is possible. A sudden knowing. You might be carrying a heavier load right now, but you are powerfully shifting your future dreams towards broader horizons. You can also check out my consultations and offerings on my website, which includes Wild Apothecary. I also have the link to my 2024 Astrology Mundane Highlights video below. May the sun shine bright on you this day. May 2024 be filled with blessings coming your way. Until next time, please like, share, and subscribe wherever you can.